All right, we're trying video number 2. This one's with a filter. This is with the engine running. I just want to show you on this camera what it sounds like with the engine running. If this is too much, then this may not work, but I'm going to turn it off now. Hey guys, I'm Brian Stevens. Today is Tuesday, May 12th. I'm sitting in my truck after I just did a 2-mile speed walk, and let me tell you, it has been brutal with the shin splints. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many of you have done a lot of walking. I've been told that walking, like fast walking, a brisk walk, will burn far more calories, far more fat than running. So I've kind of made it my goal every day to walk. And for a while, I was doing 4 miles every day with no problem. And all of a sudden, shin splints came into my life. So here's the deal. So I talk about 4 pillars on my channel. Today we're talking about fitness. We're talking about the physical pillar. And if you guys want me to go more into that, I'll do more videos on that. But for now, we're building the physical pillar of my life. I walk every day, every single day. I try to do it without fail. And if I could do 2 walks a day, I probably would. It's just hard to time-wise do it. Man, I don't know how people do that. What is it called? 75 hard? I think it's 75 hard, where people do 2 workouts a day. I had a friend of mine really pushing me to do that. And just doing 1 workout some days is hard to fit in. I can't imagine doing 2 without fail, regardless of the weather. Because I live in Texas, and we get massive hail and storms and all that. And so, I don't know. I'm not big on running out in the lightning. Anyway, for those of you guys, if you don't know me, my name is Brian, and I've started a life change a few months ago, and I'm trying to document this as I go through it. And one of the big goals here is to lose weight. You know, I got down to 197. It took a lot. I mean, it only took about a month and a half, but it took a lot for me to get there. You know, it was simple, but not easy, in other words. But I did a diet of low carb eating, and I got down to 197. And I started out at 233. Now, like 6 months down the road here, it started out as one of those things where you're like, I'm at a holiday party. I'll just have 1 meal. It won't hurt. And then at the end of the day, you're like, well, I already had my 1 meal. I might as well enjoy another. And then you think the next day, you're like, well, I already messed up yesterday. It's not going to hurt if I have some snacks today. And then the snowball starts. You gain the weight right back. Food addiction is a very real thing. Oh my gosh. Like I didn't realize that I struggle with food addiction, okay? Until this time around. Last time I didn't have as much problem with it. This time around, I'm unemployed, and so I'm home a lot, and there's just food within, well, not much food, but there's food within reach all the time. And so, if my kids have a bag of Cheetos out, it's just out of habit. It's not like I'm going to eat some Cheetos and it won't hurt me today. It's like, it's just habits where I'm like, I'll have one of those, and I just reach down, eat it, and then I go, what the heck? Why did I do that? Now I'm probably going to get out of ketosis. And I actually measure my ketosis. I have a little breath meter to see how I'm doing. And I'll kick myself out of ketosis from eating a few Cheetos, supposed to stay below 20 carbs a day. Anyway, so here's where my progress is at. 1, I have excruciating shin splints. Oh my gosh. When I walk, the shin splints are unbelievable. And I don't really understand it, because I've listened to every piece of advice in the world and done it. I've had people tell me, well, it has to do with your shoes, or you need to wrap your legs. You need to wrap your legs while you're running. You need to wrap your legs only after you're running. I've had people tell me, buy different shoes. I've had people say it could be your socks. I've had people say, try it's not a leg wrap. It's like a compression sleeve. Try a compression sleeve. I've had people tell me I need to do stretches before I run or after I run. And I've tried everything. Here's the thing that I think it is. This is just me, but they're real random for me. I'll get shin splints one day, and the next day I can go 4 miles. I'm fine. Today, 2 miles, and I barely made it because I was in so much pain, and I'll sit down in the car, and I just have to suffer for 5 minutes, just before I go anywhere, because I can't drive like that. So I honestly think it's inflammation. I think that once my body gets to a certain weight, it's like you're going to be in pain when you walk, because when I got down to 197 before, I felt great. Never had shin splints, but as soon as I gained the weight back, and I think today I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 225, 228. I'll be in somewhere in that neighborhood. Um, and when I weigh that much, I tend to get brutal shin splints. So I honestly think if I get rid of all the trash that I eat and start eating well again, get myself below about 210, I bet that inflammation goes away and those shin splints will stop. I don't know. That's just a theory because I know skinny people get shin splints too, but Um, secondly, I've been doing a lot of body weight exercise. I stopped doing heavy weights because, as you can see, I've got decent sized arms. I lift a lot. I have people, and I'm not trying to brag at all, but I do have people comment on it all the time. They call me Big N. I had somebody the other day say, "I'm gonna start calling you Hulk," and it's a compliment. It really is nice. It feels good, but at the same time, I keep telling my family, I'm like, I know there's a beast underneath all this fat. If I lose all this fat, you're going to see an unbelievable ripped beast, because I've lifted all my life. The problem is since I got married back when I was 23, now I'm 49, I've gradually gotten chubbier and chubbier until now I got like dad bod going on. And that's, even though you're 49, even though you're married, you don't want to have dad bod. I don't want to have that. So I'm going to work real hard. I have to fight those urges. I have to fight having those little cheats, no matter how hard I have to work, I got to do it. So here's the question. Let me tell you my goal first. My goal, if you haven't heard, is 160. I want to get down to 160. And some people say that's impossible. It might be, but that's what I'm shooting for. I weigh, like I said, I probably weigh between 225 and 228 today. And I am shooting to weigh 160. We're going to see if I can get there. Now, if I get ripped and get down to 170, I'll be happy. But I'm shooting for 160. We'll see where it gets me. In the meantime, I will be taking pictures and doing some videos to show you my progress. But I'm not going to show those until I lose at least 20 pounds. Because even after a 20, 30 pound weight loss in the past, people just didn't see it. It seems like you have to get around that 40 pound. Depends on how big you are. You have to get around that 40 pound mark at my size. I'm 5'9", I weigh 228, and I'm 49 years old. Those are kind of my stats. So I want to get down to 160, see what that looks like. And we'll see. I feel like I'm ahead of the game because my dad had his first heart attack when he was 51, 52, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I don't want to follow his pattern of living. I don't. And so I've worked real hard at trying to stay healthy. And I can do this. I bet you can do it too. You don't have to follow the same diet as I follow. You don't have to follow the same, you don't have to walk every day. I do feel like it's good for you. I feel like it's good for cardio. I do it for blood pressure too. And I've noticed when I do the deep breathing while I'm walking, and especially if I do these sprints, about every 3/4 mile, I'll do a sprint. So if I do 4 miles, I do about 4 sprints and hit it hard when I'm sprinting. And when I do those and I get home and I check my blood pressure is usually normal a lot of times. I have slightly elevated blood pressure. Every once in a while it'll peak up, but that's the other thing. I'm doing this for the blood pressure. And last time when I did low carb and got lighter, down close to 200, I wasn't having blood pressure issues anymore. So I want to know where you're at. What are you trying to get rid of? Are you trying to just get rid of fat? Are you on medication that restricts you? I'm also on a CPAP machine, by the way. And when I get down at about 200, I don't have to use a CPAP anymore because I'm not snoring. But where are you at? Are you trying to lose weight? You trying to lose body fat? Are you trying to gain some muscle? Where are you at? Tell me where you're at in the process. And it doesn't matter. We're not competing here. I just want to know, what kind of progress are you making? Are you in my age category, 40 or above? And you're trying to get fit for the first time in your life, maybe, or maybe you're trying to get back in shape and you're struggling. That's who this group is for. I want to motivate each other. I want to see people making progress. I'm going to get rid of the dad bod. I know you can too. And let's help motivate each other. I'm Brian Andrew Stevens. This is Man vs. Self. See you in the next video.